Time for these week 4 predictions. Last week I went 9-7, which is an improvement from 7-9. Not my best yet, but I believe we can only get better from here. Some surprises though from week 3 on my Tuesday predictions last week is the Buffalo Bills lost to the Miami Dolphins. Yes, they did. And, I want to send a little apology to Tua Tagovailoa because I wasn't one of his haters who said he wasn't good or skilled enough to, be a good quarterback. I never said that. I said what really is going to stop Tua from maximizing his potential that he has in the NFL will be injuries. And, he did something that I did not think he had in him. And you know what he did? He goes out like almost at the end of the half with a bit of a concussion or, an alleged concussion, or it kind of looked like it. Goes in the locker room. I thought, we're going to see Teddy Bridgewater for the rest of the game. And then Tua Tagovailoa comes out, walking out and plays the rest of the game, which I have to give him props. I know there's an investigation on if, the concussion protocol, this, that, or the other. But I believe if Tua didn't want to play anymore and he thought he had a concussion, he wouldn't have played. But anyways, I don't know, the details. I wasn't there, but I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure if Tua didn't want to play, he wouldn't have played after that. And I give him props for coming out and he got the win, so it was well worth it for him. 3-0, it looks like he's going to be playing Thursday. So, Bengals, Dolphins, Thursday night. Let's kick it off with these predictions. It's in Cincinnati, and to be honest, I'm going to be unbiased here. I know I've been, talking down on Joe Burrow in the past episodes, but I think here, Cincinnati takes a win. Miami has not started 4-0 since the 72 perfect season. So I believe here, Cincinnati are going to win, and I don't think Miami has, what it takes to go perfect season, especially with the additions of more games. But, this isn't a bad loss for Miami. It's a short week. You just went through a war. You might drop one off against the Bengals. The Bengals are looking to bounce back after going 0-2 and losing to Mitchell Trubisky and Cooper Rush. But they seem to be headed in the right direction. But honestly, as a Steelers fan, I'll be rooting for the Dolphins. Now, for the next game, this one's in London in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We've got the Vikings playing the Saints. And honestly, the Saints have looked pretty bad. With, new head coach Jameis Winston at quarterback, they have been, offensively struggling. And I think here the Vikings have done well enough to have some respect for me to say that they're going to beat the Saints in London. I think the Vikings are the real deal. I think they're going to be, winning their division over the Packers. And they possibly could get the first overall seed in the NFC. I just think the Vikings have a better offensive-minded coach, and they're going to be scoring tons of points. And I see them beating the Saints, even though I had a more hope for the Saints. I didn't say they're going to make the playoffs, but I just think with the additions of Tyrann Mathieu, Jarvis Landry, and drafting Olave, they would have been better, but it seems like they're still struggling. Now, Seahawks go into Detroit playing the Lions. The Lions are massively improved. Just had a heartbreaking loss to the Vikings that went down to the wire. So I think they're going to win this. The Seahawks, in my opinion, are one of the worst teams in the league. I understand Pete Carroll is trying to do whatever he can to keep this team competitive with Geno Smith at quarterback. But Russell Wilson was a lot better than Geno Smith, all right? So they're definitely not going to be doing anything. Don't let that week 1 win distract you. Anyways, then we've got Jets versus Steelers. Yes, my Steelers are going to be receiving the Jets. And I think the Steelers should win this, even with their offensive struggles and my complaints with Matt Canada and Mitchell Trubisky. I still think they should be able to get a win here, even with TJ Watt hurt. It's the Jets. Easy win. I understand, there's a possibility the Jets could get an upset. But I just think there's no way Joe Flacco beats us in Acrisure Field, formerly known as Heinz Field. Will always be known by me as Heinz Field. But anyways, Steelers win that one. Then we've got Bears versus Giants mid-off right here. I think the Giants are going to win. They receive the Bears. Justin Fields not shown much, good play since, maybe week 1 you can argue. I don't believe he's yet to get 200 yards. I don't know if he got it this last week. I didn't watch the Bears-Texans game, but I just think the Giants are at home, so they'll have that home field advantage. Just lost to the division rival Cowboys, so they'll be looking to bounce back. And I just think the Giants are a better team than the Bears. And I know Montgomery went down with an injury and Saquon is healthy, so that is a big, tide mover right there. But we got Titans versus Colts in Indianapolis. I think the Titans, they got to win against the Raiders. Left the Raiders as the only 0-3 team. But I think the Colts are still a playoff caliber team, and I see them winning this game. The Titans, lost a lot with A.J. Brown and a ton of injuries on their O-line, so I think the Colts are going to get the win, even though they had, a very weird week one tying. Then they lose to the Jags, and then they beat the Chiefs, so they're kind of a flimsy team here, but I think the Colts should come out with the win against a division rival. Then we've got Chargers versus Texans. I think here, this is one of my hot takes. Last year, the Texans beat the Chargers. The Chargers are having some struggles. They've got to beat up Justin Herbert out there trying to give this team life, and it did not work. They get absolutely blown out by the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I think here, the Texans are going to, receive the Chargers and beat them again. Yes, the Texans are going to beat the Chargers. I think this is one of the upsets this week, and people are going to be questioning the head coach of the Chargers. Is he the problem? Justin Herbert's playing hurt, giving everything to his team, so respect to him. And, I just think the Chargers are still a playoff caliber team. This is a must win for them, but I just think the Texans are going to upset them here. They haven't looked too bad. I understand they did just, tied. I believe they won and then they lost, I believe is the way they went. So, or no, they tied, lost, and lost. Yeah, anyways. Browns versus Falcons. I've got, the Browns beating the Falcons. I think the Falcons are also one of the worst teams in the league. And the Browns have shown promise. I didn't think Jacoby Brissett and the Browns were going to be doing well. I thought they were going to be putting up points, but defensively, I thought they were going to be struggling. But this is a game I wouldn't be surprised the Falcons would win, because I just heard that Myles Garrett was in a car accident. Prayers to him, even as a Steelers fan. You got to wish nothing but the best when stuff like that happens. But anyways, I think the Browns here should be able to get the win. Offensively, they've looked, solid, a lot solider than I thought they would be, without Deshaun Watson. But Brissett's getting the job done. He looks a lot better than he did with Miami. But this could be due to, Miami having a terrible O-line, not many targets. Running game was all over the place. But now he has a more of a solidified team that is a lot solid, a lot better than the one that he had in Miami. But anyways, Commanders, Cowboys. I think the Cowboys get this win. Cooper Rush looks great, but it looks like Dak Prescott possibly could come back this week. But I just think leaving Cooper Rush, he's undefeated as a starter. He's going to be causing some problems there in the quarterback room. Dak Prescott's getting a little deja vu, getting reminiscent time of, Tony Romo, Dak Prescott. Tony Romo, is benched, boom, Dak Prescott comes in. I think he's getting a little deja vu there, but you don't pay Dak Prescott all that money to leave him on the bench, but I would just give him one more game to Cooper Rush. Then I've got Jags versus Eagles. I think the Jags are going to win. Going into Philly, statement game. They just went into, the Chargers and they beat them. So I think if they come in and beat one of the only undefeated teams, one of the only two undefeated teams, and beat the Eagles, that would be a hell of a statement for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think Trevor Lawrence will start getting a lot more hype than he has right now, which I'm surprised he's not getting talked about that much. But Doug Peterson is showing why he's one of, the good coaches in the NFL. He just won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, and now he's here with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's doing extremely well, so gotta give the man props. He's doing a lot better than Urban Meyers would be doing right now if he still had the job. Then we've got Bills versus Ravens. Now, I think the Ravens are going to win this. The Bills have a ton of injuries, and it was very, very, clear to me when I saw them play the Dolphins, having some problems here and there. So I just believe the Ravens have been putting up, 30 bombs here and there. So I think they'll do the same to the Bills. Unless the Bills can outscore the Ravens in a high-scoring game, then maybe they can get a win. But I just think the Ravens have home field, less injuries, and Lamar Jackson is playing crazy on a contract year, looking to get a lot of money. So, we'll see how much he gets. But if he stays healthy the whole year, leads the Ravens to the playoffs, he's going to get a big bag. Now, we've got Cardinals, Panthers. I think the Cardinals are going to win here. Yeah, the Panthers beat the Saints last week. Seems like Baker Mayfield's getting a little bit, better at this. But I just think, the Cardinals are a better football team. They've got Kyler Murray, who's better than Baker Mayfield. They've got, maybe Christian McCaffrey better than James Conner. But I just think the receiving core is better from the Cardinals. The defense is kind of on the same tier, I'm not going to lie. But I'm going to just say the Cardinals go in and win the game because I think the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs and the Panthers will not. Then Broncos versus Raiders. Do the Raiders get their first win of the season? I predicted them for the last 3 weeks to get a win, and they failed each and every time. So I'm going to say the Broncos get a win here. They just beat the 49ers in San Francisco, in Denver. So, wait, was it? My bad. I'm getting a little. Yeah, they beat them in Denver. Yeah, in Denver they beat them, and I just think the Broncos do have a lot of issues. I don't think their head coach is quite cutting it. I know Russell Wilson comes out and says, yeah, man, me and Hackett have great communication. It feels good to have the communication, kind of throwing little shots at Pete Carroll. But I just think he's not really hacking it, like Frank the Tank from Barstool said. Because you're putting up, he's yet to put up 20 points with Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, He's got a good offense. He's got 2 good running backs. He's got a decent defense. And he's winning some flimsy games that I'm just like, what are you doing? He loses to the Seahawks. He doesn't go for it on 4th down. And then he says, yeah, I should have gone for it. Yeah, no, duh. You just paid your quarterback a ton of money. And you don't want to go for it on a 4th and 5th in his former team, in his former home. You're out of your mind for even attempting the field goal. Anyways, then you go and beat the Texans in a very rough game. You score, 16 points and barely beat the Texans. Then you go and play the 49ers, who are having offensive struggles as well. Jimmy Garoppolo looks absolutely horrible. He gives you 2 points. If it wasn't for Jimmy Garoppolo giving you those 2 points, you don't win that game. You understand? You lose 9-10, but instead you got really lucky there. And you win 11-10. I think this head coach isn't very good. I think Sean Payton said that if he saw the perfect opportunity, he'd come back. I think the Broncos' job is a decent opportunity. I'm pretty sure he's looking at the Cowboys' job, seeing when Mike McCarthy gets fired. But I would look at that Broncos thing because they're managing their 2-1. Haven't scored 20 points yet. Your defense is going to be good. All you got to do is figure out the offense, and you've got Russell Wilson. So I don't think it will be too much of a problem. But anyways, next game, Patriots, Packers. I think the Packers are going to win. Mac Jones is going to be missing multiple weeks. So, yeah, the Patriots are going to be losing some games. And the Packers just, beat the Bucks, who the Bucks are going to be a contender. And so are the Packers, obviously. But they beat a really good team in a defensive showdown, and I just think they're going to come in and be a Patriots team without their starting quarterback, and the Patriots aren't very good either way this year, and I think this just gives Bill Belichick an excuse why they do bad, and he's going to try and get a top draft pick and hopefully load up in the draft for him and his team. Anyways, Chiefs, Bucks, this game might get moved because of the hurricane. We'll see what happens, but I think Chiefs are going to win. I think the Bucks have been looking very shaky. They're making a lot of mistakes. Tom Brady's got a lot of stuff going on. So, Chiefs win. Obviously, in my prediction, I said the Chiefs are going to not make the playoffs. But if the Bucks win, then I'm looking like a philosopher either way. But I just think the Chiefs are coming out firing. They did just lose to the Colts, though. But previous weeks, they were doing well offensively. We'll see how they do against an elite defense. I think this is going to be a real test for Patrick Mahomes without Tyreek Hill. So we'll see what they do here against a really good team. They did kind of fail last week, but you always have a second chance, and this is their time to prove it. Then we've got Monday Night Football, Rams versus 49ers, a division rivalry here. I think the Rams have shown that they can score tons of points, get defensive stops. They've shown a lot more than the 49ers with Jimmy Garoppolo. They're over here handing over a win to Hackett, like I said. And I think the Rams should win this game, even if it's in San Francisco. The Rams have a high-powering offense. They have arguably the best receiver in the league. They've got a decent running game. They've got one of the best pass rushers, one of the best corners. It's a lot to say here. It's a lot of good from the Rams. They're just going off, a Super Bowl frenzy in my opinion, but they should get a statement win here and show the league they're not playing. But anyways, leave a comment down below what you think about my predictions. If some game you thought, you know what, you've got this game wrong, let me know in the comments. I want to know what you guys think. And anyways, leave a like and subscribe for more videos, and thank you guys for watching.